Good evening. This is Jack. How are you guys? Take you back to 1985. The young boy that we had met, he had got into some serious trouble and had to go back to Colombia. Now, to let you know how this worked, I had to virtually speak to the Colombians every day. Well, at least attempt to. Their telephone communications in '85 was terrible. Calling Cartagena, Barranquilla, and Santa Marta, it was very, very hard. Sometimes it would take hours, and virtually sometimes it would take days, but I was always attempting to call, at least once a day. I'd try it 6, 7 times. I couldn't get through. I'd wait till the next day. And of course, the Colombians, well, the Colombians are mañana, 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 and then he'd be in the other city, and they were all over the fucking place. Well, this time I was calling. I was taking me second, third day to get through. And when I finally got through to the Colombian, he was out of his mind. He goes, "Jack, please, please, you need to help me, Jack. I can't believe what happened. My brother-in-law was arrested by the DEA in Los Angeles. And my sister's literally hanging out in the wind." And I said, "Well, where is she?" And he said, "Well, she went with my friend, and she went up to San Francisco, and he's got her at his house, but I'm nervous because he's tied up with my brother-in-law. I'm just worried that they're going to arrest my sister." And I said, "Well, what do you want from me?" And he said, "Would you please go get her? Would you please go get her to Miami, and then see if you can get her from Miami down here to Colombia or down to the island somewhere so we can get her home? I'm just terrified. I would not trust anyone with my sister. You know, come on, Jack, you know the deal." Now, this is in broken English, Spanglish, which, you know, I'm real good at Spanglish with this guy. In fact, a special language, a mix of charades, me no, Spanish, English, but I've got like a hook with this guy. We definitely have a way of communicating with one another that no one understands. I said, "Listen, don't worry. Don't worry. I don't want your sister with anyone in California. I'll go right away. Have your friend in California. Get your sister to a hotel, not a real expensive one, but you know, a Holiday Inn, Howard Johnson's, one of those, and I'll leave right away. I'll leave tomorrow, and I'll fly out to California. I'll rent a car. I'll drive her back. And what kind of papers does she have?" And he said, "Well, she's here illegally. She did have a visa, but she overextended. She overstayed." I said, "No problem whatsoever. Don't worry. I'll go get her. I'll bring her back to Miami. And, of course, I won't touch her." And he goes, I know you won't, my friend." I said, "Don't worry. Don't worry. Because any of you that know Colombians and their sisters, oh, Jesus Christ, they don't want any fucking gringos touching their sisters." Well, I called the big guy and the packer, put everyone on notice and said, "Hey, listen, I got to go get her." And I had all the info and the phone number to reach out to get this guy, but I was a little twisted because I didn't know exactly who this motherfucker was, where she was staying, and I was worried that, you know, he might be getting ready to get knocked off as well. Bottom line, I didn't want to walk into anything. So I flew out to San Francisco. I rented a car, and sure as shit, back and forth to the Colombian, I got a hold of the sister, and she was at a Howard Johnson's over in Corte Madera or San Rafael. I went over and picked her up, and when I saw her, I had never seen her before. I had heard about her, but I had never seen her before. Movie star. Drop dead fucking beautiful. Married, her old man's knocked off, the feds got him, and when I saw her, she was as timid as a deer. And I said, "Listen, honey," because she was dressed to the nines. She looked like she was out of some Paris fashion magazine. I said, "We got to get rid of that shit. You know, low-cut boots, jeans, you know, not the ones that look like they're painted on, a sweatshirt, no makeup, and kind of just straighten your hair. We got a long ride ahead of us. I'm going to have to drive you to Miami." And I said, "Don't worry. You stay with me. You're with me, and absolutely nothing's going to happen to you." She did speak broken English. An angel and sweet, but I could see she was terrified. I said, "I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to hurt you. I love your brother and your family. Listen, I'm going to get you to Miami, and I'm going to get you back home to Colombia. There's nothing to worry about. I got it all worked out." Just hang tough, and we're going to have to take a little round-around detour, and I don't want to drive you down the southern route from San Francisco to Miami. I'm going to drive you up through Reno and take 80 across as far as like somewhere where there was a cutoff around St. Louis, and then I worked my way back down till I hit 10 in the panhandle of Florida and drove her into Miami. Took her right to my apartment. Of course, the packer and the big guy, when they saw her, we were just on top of her, taking good care of her, made sure she had her food, and there was a couple of rules. You cannot go out. You cannot make any phone calls. You stay in the fucking house. We don't want to be responsible for something happening wrong to you. If you listen to us and trust us, we will get you home. Well, we had a travel agent up in Fort Pierce, and we went up to the travel agent after I'd rested a day or so, and we said, hey, listen, we have a girl. She's overextended her visa. How do we get her out of the country? He goes, well, that's no problem. He goes, we could rent a Lear jet. And he said, we rent a Lear and we fly her down to the islands. Let's fly her down close. Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, somewhere in that neck of the woods. Could her family come get her? And I said, I'm almost certain of it. So I checked with the Colombians, and they said, oh, Jesus Christ, if you could get her to Curacao, no problem whatsoever. We can just skip and get her immediately. So sure as shit, what we did is we paid cash. I think it was $7,500 for a one-way flight on a Learjet from Melbourne, Florida to Curacao. And we paid cash, but then the travel agent made it in a check, and it made everything look right. He went up to the leasing company, cut the check, and we'd set it up for a couple of days later. I guess she was with us probably for the better part of a week before we had all the arrangements made. And sure as shit, we drove her up to Melbourne in the morning. It was like 8 o'clock. The travel agent was there. We put her on the Learjet. We stood there on the tarmac till the Lear took off. When the Lear took off, we started calling Colombia saying she was on her way. And sure as shit, got her home safe and sound. That went a long way for me being in the smuggling business with the Colombians. They never forgot that. They just were very appreciative of that. That was a family affair. I was a family member after that. Hey, listen, I'll have another one for you in a few days. We'll see you then.